Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another riveting edition of Rockin' with Chef Jeff. So I'm eating a little early tonight because I have a student coming over at 7 o'clock for a lesson. So I will be. Oh, my camera's doing weird stuff here. So I figured if I was going to do this, I better do it early. Well, I'm really excited about dinner tonight, because I was over at my dad's last night. I was doing laundry. We won't go into why. Because I'm lame and I don't have a washer and dryer yet. So what are you going to do? So tonight, I will be enjoying a gift that he gave me last night, which is this beautiful steak. I have no idea what cut it is. He told me, but like every good son, I promptly forgot exactly what he told me. So I'm trying to mess around with the camera here a little bit and see what's going on. And it's not doing anything I want it to. Okay, there's my stove. I know the screen's little. All right, let me go back. All right, so anyway, I'll mess with that later. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm just going to make a quick dinner. I'm going to cook this steak, but I'm not going to do it in the traditional way. I know it's sideways. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't get it to change. So I'll just do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do steak. I'm going to do some canned green beans. And I've got these really cool breadsticks that I got at Mark's for pretty much a song. And I've already got the oven warming up. But that's not why I want to show this to you guys. The reason that I'm throwing all this together is show you not only how to do a steak on a stovetop, but also how Jeffrey does green beans, because I don't just take green beans out of the can. I make them my own. So now, for everybody that's ever been watching me, you guys have probably noticed a theme throughout my videos of, my dog's going crazy because apparently somebody had the gall to actually walk down the street. Oh yeah, so the point is, what I've been doing with all this is showing you guys how to make stuff without a recipe book and basically using stuff that you just find in the kitchen or in the refrigerator. So what I'm going to do is, I've already kind of laid everything out, except I did forget one key ingredient that I need to get. Oh no! Oh no, we have an emergency! Help! I'm out of minced garlic! Oh, crap. All right, well, I guess I'll just have to use the real deal. Kasha. Say hi to Kasha, everybody. My attack dog apparently sees something. And I'm looking and hoping and praying that I have some more minced garlic, but I don't think I do. All right, plan B. I'm going to use real garlic. No problem. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with this in a second. So let's go over the key ingredients for tonight's meal. So here I have the steak, and it's still wrapped, and I think it's a partial ribeye, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't matter because it's going to be awesome. I've got fresh-like green beans. I'm not sure if I want to know what fresh-like actually stands for, but you know, it's like, okay, it's like fresh, but maybe different. I don't know. Okay, we've got Italian dressing. We've got Parmesan cheese. We've got breadcrumbs. What on earth are you going to do with breadcrumbs, Jeffrey? Well, I'm glad you asked, and you'll find out. Olive oil. And hang on a second while I go discipline my dog. Kasha, stop. Shh. There's nobody out there. Okay, I'm going to try turning this and see if this helps at all. Something's up with my phone and it's stuck in landscape mode. So I don't know why it's doing that. I apologize. I can't seem to fix it, so I'm just going to roll with it. So you guys will have to deal with it as well. All right, so, the most important ingredient, of course, is my glass of wine. Now tonight I am rocking the Bota Box Red Volution. I told you guys about this one before. The Red Volution is a mix. It's a mixed red of a variety of different red wine grapes. It's a little heavier than a Merlot, but I really like the flavor, and it's about the only red wine in the Bota boxes that they sell in my area, which is one more reason why Akron sucks. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut up a clove of garlic. And I always try to keep fresh garlic around, which brings me to my next statement. You guys don't want to miss the edition that you guys don't want to miss my show that I'm going to be doing over the weekend, because I am making hummus. And I will tell you that my hummus is legendary. And I don't say that to brag. I don't believe it's bragging. Whoa. I don't believe that it's bragging when you're simply stating empirical fact. Just to give you an idea, Erin used to buy hummus at the store, and her direct quote was, "My hummus ruined her for buying hummus because it is so good. She just would buy it and then throw it away because it just wasn't that good." So, but it's a really easy thing to make. Probably takes about 20 minutes tops, and it is just unbelievable. I found the recipe on, I don't know, some website, and as I usually do, I read the recipe once, threw it away, and now I do my own thing with it. But it's everybody thinks that stuff like that is really, really difficult, but hummus is actually really simple. It's 90% garbanzo beans and tahini, and the rest of it is just, you know, basically whatever it is that you want to add to it. I've made several different kinds of hummus. I've made the one that I make the most is just a standard garlic hummus, and it's basically the hummus that everybody sees when they go to Mediterranean restaurants and things like that. As you guys have noticed by now, I love garlic, so I use a lot of garlic. I use a lot of kosher salt, but I've also made it. What was that? Roasted red pepper, I think. Yeah, it was roasted red pepper. And that turned out, it was okay. The flavor was good. Erin really liked it. I didn't care for it a whole lot because it was really runny, but that's because the peppers were really runny. And peppers are like tomatoes, and if you watched my episode the other day, you remember that soupy mess that I had going on when I was cooking tomatoes. So, all right, so let me show you what I got going on here now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the green beans in there. Now, this is probably my favorite thing that I have in this kitchen. Erin hated it. I love it because I can do anything with this grill. Now, this is a really cool double-sided doohickey gizmo here. This side is just a flat griddle, and as you can see, it's all nice and flat. And if you flip it over, it can be a grill. It's got a little trough here on the side to catch grease, and so you can do burgers on this thing. You can do chicken. You can do hot dogs. I'm actually going to be cooking the steak on here tonight. I'm actually forced to do the steak on here because my grill took a crap on me a few weeks ago, and I can't afford to buy a new one. That's just life. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera around again, and we're going to start preparing the steak and the grill. Now, when you're doing steaks on the stovetop, it's a little bit different. You know, from standing over an open flame. I mean, obviously, because you're inside. Oh, hold on. Got to have a sip of wine. Okay, that's out of the way. All right, so this is a nice thick piece of steak. It's probably about 1.25 inches thick. It's got some nice marbling on it. It's a beautiful steak. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my griddle. Now, and I apologize, I know I keep going back and forth, but I want you guys to kind of see everything that I'm doing here. So, when you're using a griddle, the two real important things are proper greasing and heat. When I've been doing this on here, what I've typically done is I've started out with melting a pat of butter, but then also adding a little olive oil to it. And that's a little trick I actually learned from my dad. And what, it sounds a little bit weird, but what the olive oil does is olive oil increases the smoking point of the butter, and it keeps things from getting burned and stuff. But actually, it's funny getting these tips from my dad, because he was not always what you would say competent in the kitchen. We'll just leave it at that. I almost forgot, I'm going to get my breadsticks in here shortly too. And I'm going to teach you guys a really cool trick about how to put breadsticks in the oven, or do anything in the oven on a cookie sheet. Okay, I'm going to get that and trim the heat a little bit, get it melting. Now, while that's doing, I'm going to go ahead and start seasoning my steak. Now, a couple things you want to remember when you're using raw meat, when you're working with raw meat. Wash your hands much and often, because, as I mentioned before, raw meat has, obviously a lot of bacteria. So you want to keep from contaminating everything else in your kitchen. And I'm just going to flip that over. Actually, I'll season I'll just go ahead and season the other side. Now, I love Lowry seasoned salt. This stuff is, my kids like to say, is the bomb.com. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just seasoning it with just the Lowry's and some garlic salt. Okay, my butter, I wasn't paying attention, so my butter went the way of the dodo. So I'm just going to spread that around a little bit. And yes, I'm using a knife on it. Sue me. It's my show. I can do what I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. If I can get the lid, the cap off. Now, heat-wise, with stuff like this, you probably want to go medium to medium-high. You don't want it too hot, because you don't want to, you want to char the outside or sear the outside, but you don't want to kill it. Because what you're looking for is a nice even cook all the way through the steak. Now, obviously, this is going to all depend on how you like your steak prepared. I like my steaks medium rare. I like them pink to a little bit red on the inside, but I don't like them totally rare. I certainly don't like a steak that talks to me or moos. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and dump my green beans in here. And now, what am I doing with the green beans? Because nothing that I do is standard, I am going to jazz these bad boys up. And I'm going to jazz them up with some of the ingredients that you saw earlier on my countertop. I'm going to season them. I'm going to throw in some Parmesan cheese, some Italian dressing, and I'm going to try this. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I'm going to put some panko breadcrumbs in there. I think that will give it a nice cool flavor. I think it'll give it a little texture. And if it sucks, it sucks. That's just the way it bounces. So, I'm also going to throw, of course, garlic in there. So I'm going to grab my Dollar General $1 cutting board, which actually fits in this kitchen perfectly. So let me just put that to the side. I want to show you what I'm going to do. I told you earlier about showing you a cool little trick. This is something that I do all the time when I use cookie sheets. I hate doing dishes, and when you have a kitchen as small as mine, you have to do them a lot. Otherwise, you're kind of in trouble. So what I tend to do is, if it's something that's not too ridiculous, I will just line the cookie sheet with a sheet of aluminum foil. And this way, after everything's done and everyone's eaten and everyone's happy, all you have to do is just line up, pick up the aluminum foil, and you're done. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and chuck my steak on there and get that to start cooking. Oh, listen to that. That's righteous right there, baby. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer on that. I'm going to cook that on one side for about 7 minutes. And we'll see how that goes. Now, I love these breadsticks. I get these at Mark's. They're just pre-made garlic breadsticks, and eventually I'll actually show you how I make my own. So I do make my own garlic bread. I'm still kind of monkeying around with the recipe a little bit, but I like them, and it's always made kind of a cool snack in the evening. But I like these because they're inexpensive and they're really, really good. I think this box was like $2.50 or something ridiculous like that. So nice and cheap, and they taste really good, and they're ready in about 5 minutes. I'm going to put those back in the freezer and wash my hands real quick. So in addition to my exciting hummus special that I'm going to have over the weekend, I'm going to share with you too, we've got a special surprise for next week, because Rockin' with Chef Jeff, people, we're going to go viral with this. So I'm messing around with some new formats, and next week is going to be the first episode of Rockin' with Chef Jeff with a special guest. I'm not going to say who it is. Most of you guys who are friends with me are also friends with this guy. But it's going to be kind of cool, because we're not only going to just talk about cooking, but we're also going to be talking about a topic near and dear to our hearts, which is music, guitars, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let me spin. So I got the, excuse me, I've got the steak cooking right now. So while that's rolling, I'm going to go ahead and start adding everything to the green beans. I'm going to start out with, now I prefer wishbone Italian, and so I'm just going to go ahead and dump in a liberal amount into the saucepan. Okay, that was probably not as liberal as I was thinking, but that's all right. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. I'm doing that one-handed, that's why I had to do it that way. Because I don't want you guys to miss a thing. Now I'm going to toss in the Parmesan cheese, if I can get it open. You guys dizzy yet? Okay, I'm going to dump some of that in there. Oh, num, 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 num. And I'm going to go ahead and add some breadcrumbs as well. Now these are just regular seasoned panko breadcrumbs. Nothing fancy. How's that steak coming? Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Oh, I'm also going to get the fan going here, because it's likely to start smoking just a little bit. Oh, wine time. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get the burner started on the green beans. I gotta tell you guys, I love doing this. I have a lot of fun. I hope you guys have fun watching it. You know, I think what I'd like to do is maybe get this on some sort of a schedule, so that, because I know that a lot of times, you know, I just do this spur of the moment, and a lot of people don't know about it. I'd like to think that there's people that would be very interested to see it if they could. So what I'll probably start doing is just having like set times, or give everybody like a day's notice, or maybe even set them up as events, because I enjoy doing this. It's a great way for me to just kind of get my head in a good place, and quite frankly, it's just fun. And like I said, any excuse that I have to be stupid and be as stupid as I want is good. Now I want to show you what this steak is doing here. Let me see if I am really sorry about that, guys. I meant to turn on my flashlight and I signed off, so I didn't mean to do that. But if you want to take a close look at the bottom of that steak, you can see that it's starting to cook through pretty nicely. So I'm going to give this another, probably, it looks like we got about 3 minutes to go on here. And then I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to do this again. But the nice thing about the steaks is again, you know, you make them however you want. And the nice thing about a griddle like this too, let's say that you're cooking for two, you're cooking for your wife, significant other, whatever. They don't like the steak the same way. Well, you'll notice that this griddle sits over 2 burners. So, you know, if you're a real man and you like it practically bleeding, well, you know, we can use the front burner. And then, you know, because I don't like it raw, you know, they like it dead, so you can just flame up, put the back burner on, light that sucker up, and, you know, basically just kill a perfectly good piece of steak. So, but hey, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. That's all. That's all I'm saying. All right. And now the other thing about the steaks too is you're going to notice that we're not. One of the other downsides of not using a flame grill is the sides don't necessarily get cooked really well. So don't worry. Don't fret. Chef Jeff has got this covered. It's not a big deal. What I will do is once the steak is cooked on both sides, what we'll do is we'll just hold each side down and sear it for about 15-20 seconds just to get it brown. Because again, I don't mind it if my steak makes a little music when I eat it. I really like it that way. Those beans aren't looking too bad, you guys. So for the folks that just joined, the reason the green beans look a little funky isn't because I got them on the bargain shelf. It's because there's Parmesan cheese, Italian dressing, and panko breadcrumbs sitting in there. So don't sit there and think that there's maggots and whatnot. Roadhouse rolls and cinnamon butter, because that'd be great. Michelle, I would love nothing more, but that would probably require me to wait outside the parking lot of Roadhouse, kidnap somebody, and pretty much get the recipe that way. Or maybe I can call Plankton, because he's been after that Krabby Patty for years. Maybe the Roadhouse rolls might be a little bit safer for the little guy. And plus, SpongeBob doesn't work at Roadhouse. So, and hey, Michelle Monroe, are we still up for all going to see The Dark Tower when it comes out? And there's only one answer to that question, so don't even bother. All right. This is exciting, you guys. Are you as excited as I am? Because I don't know about you, but I'm just excited. I'm so excited, I'm going to have another drink of wine. I mean, Kasha can't even contain herself. I mean, look at her. She's so excited, she's catatonic. All right, so I think you can see now, I don't know how well you guys can see, but you can see that the steak has moved, the doneness has kind of moved about a third of the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it now. Oh, will you look at that? Yes, I know. I'm shocked and amazed. So I'm just going to hold here for a second and let you guys just gasp in amazement and wonder. Like I've said, sometimes I just amaze myself. All right, the breadsticks are going to go in. Put those on the center shelf. And you guys, again, for all the men out there, you know what, get off your butts, get in the kitchen, and do some of this stuff yourself, you guys. It's not that hard. The whole purpose of me doing these videos is to show husbands, boyfriends, sons, that you don't have to be a rock star to cook, although it does help, and I'm good at both, so I'm just saying. But you know, there's nothing to it, really. I'm going to add a little more olive oil here. All right, yeah, because you don't want it sticking or burning. So again, olive oil, not only does it help protect everything from smoking too much, but what it also does is it just gives it a rockin' flavor. And I'm stirring these guys up a little more. And hey, wouldn't it be great if I set the timer for the breadsticks? Wow, what a concept. All right, so anyway, getting back to it, fellas, I really, really hope that you guys are paying attention. And, you know, I've noticed from, you know, seeing who's been viewing this that it's mostly wives and women, and that's great. We love you guys. You are the reason we get up every day, if you have one. But we need to step up, and we need to stop being so lame. So ladies, feel free to interrupt your husbands from watching ESPN or whatever and say, hey, get on Facebook, go to Heron's page, and watch his videos, because you're going to make me dinner tomorrow, or you're out. Go ahead, and you can tell him I said that. Okay, I'm probably going to delete the last 30 seconds of this video, otherwise I might lose my man card. Oh, who am I kidding? I lost my man card when I got a dog with a pink collar. Alright, so... oh, dude, that's just looking sweet right there. That is just looking sweet. So again, I wish I knew exactly what kind of cut this was. I want to say it was a ribeye. I think that's maybe what he said, but I don't remember. Alright, the beans are about done. And by the way, green beans, you know, there's always a debate. Do you want to get them frozen? Do you want to get them fresh? Do you want to get them in a can? Dude, when you do stuff like this, when you rock your green beans, Jeff Heron style, it doesn't matter how you get them. So just do what I do and go with what's cheapest, because that keeps me out of trouble. And it also keeps me from going completely broke and living in a van down by the river. Okay. Kasha, what do you think? I'm gonna get Kasha to see if I can get Kasha to do a trick for you guys. Okay. I've been working really hard to teach her this trick, so I hope she does it for you guys. Okay, hang on just a second. Let me get her motivation here. Dude, this is awesome. Trust me, you guys aren't going to want to miss this. All right, ready? You guys ready? All right, Kasha, ready? Do math in your head. Good girl. See, she's a freaking genius. Love that dog. Yeah, we've been going over differential equations and calculus. I think she's getting it pretty well. All right. And I'm all excited because I finally found, she's like pickier than Alyssa when it comes to food. So I've got all these treats here that she just won't touch. But I found these Bacon Littles bacon and cheese flavored bacon strips, and she just tears them up. So once again, he shoots, he scores. Again, unlike LeBron. Okay. And speaking of sports, I was very upset to find out that an ex-Packer was arrested on charges of, was it child abuse or child neglect? No, child abuse. So a buddy of mine came up to my desk and asked me if I had heard about it today. And me being lame, I'm like, no, who? So apparently Amon Green, who was our featured running back back in the early 2000s in the Brett Favre days. The dude was awesome, but apparently he got into some maltreatment of his daughter, and he's in jail. And I will tell you guys something right now. I don't care who you are. You hit your daughter, you knock your daughter down, you deserve everything that happens to you. Because there is nothing, and I don't care what it is, there is nothing that can ever warrant you ever striking your female daughter enough to knock her down. And now spanking is great when you're like 2 or 3, but once they, once they get to a certain point, guys, come on, use your heads. All right, so okay, my preaching is over. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take the steak, and you'll notice what I'm doing now is I'm just searing the sides a little bit. I'm not trying to fully cook the sides through, but what I want to do is I just want to get the sides, because I don't know, it's too late. I wanted you to see how pink the sides were, which is fine, but I would prefer to just get it that way. Yeah, you can do the water torture. That's cool. That's a guy. He's a guy, so I'm just talking about girls. In fact, I'll hold him down for you, Michelle. All right. That beautiful noise means that something is done, and that would be my breadsticks. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. The breadsticks look pretty good. That steak looks pretty good. I'm going to give it another minute. And let's pull this out and look at that. Nice and golden brown. And as I mentioned before, you'll notice they are on aluminum foil. So the cleanup, once everything cools off, is just throw the foil away. No big shakes there, kids. And the cool thing about foil too is it cools off almost immediately. It's really awesome that way. Oh, wait a minute. Drink of wine. All right. Oh! One thing that I mentioned, and I may or may not be talking from experience, as I've mentioned many, many times, it is mandatory that you enjoy a glass of your favorite wine as you're cooking your meal. However, take small sips, because if you take too many big sips too soon, your steak can turn into a hockey puck, and your green beans can turn into banana baby food. And I may or may not be speaking from experience. So, hey guys, that's pretty much all I got. I've got a little over an hour before my lesson gets here, so I am going to sit down, I'm going to eat this bad boy, and I'm going to enjoy every freaking minute of it. And I will post later what the results of these green beans are, because I've never tried this before. Again, I was just trying to show how you just use whatever you got. So I will post either in the comments below here, or I will just do a regular post. So thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me to be able to do this, and it means a lot that you guys get bored and watch it and watch me doing it. So until next time, have a great night, and we'll see you later. Peace!